Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. We have another great special guest here today. We have an award-winning actress, producer, director from Branson, Missouri, and from Seven Dreams Films. It's my pleasure to bring to you Renee Michaels. Welcome, Renee.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about this.
Thank you. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself there in Missouri. Tell us what you do and about yourself somewhat.
Sure. Well, in Branson, it's the entertainment capital of Midwest. Yeah, so I've done some shows here, and I currently work at a boutique, but that's how I pay the bills. And I am married, and I have a ton of animals, a ton. Someday I will tell you about them, but I have a ton, and they are my hobby. And but I get to serve the Lord by making movies and using the talents that He's given me, and acting and writing and producing.
And you've been doing that for a while, acting and producing for a while, and it's just drawn you into your own company as well, hasn't it?
Yeah. So what happened was, when I was a younger adult, I just, I had a family, and I really had growing up, wanted to move to LA and Hollywood and become a famous actress. And obviously, when you're married and you have a family, it makes it a little bit more difficult. So I just decided, you know what, I'm going to bring Hollywood to me, since I can't go there. And that's where it kind of started. And I started my own independent film company, and it was Dreammakers Productions, is the first one that I had. And it was just me and one of my friends, and we were making short films and things like that, and learning, and finding mentors that we could work under, and just gaining as much knowledge as we could on how to make movies. And then several years after that, I had another group of friends that were also filmmakers that we worked as producers with, and that's where Seven Dreams Films came from. And we worked in secular projects. And but when it kind of disbanded, I was like, I really love the reason I wanted to hang on to the name was because I love the logo. That's really the only reason. But the logo is just awesome. So I was like, can I have this? Can I just keep the company? But I'm going to change it. It's going to be faith-based, family-friendly projects. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So that's how I ended up with Seven Dreams Films. But yeah, so we had done, under Dreammakers Productions, I had done a feature film that was based on a friend's novel called The Death of Kevin Fry. Our lead actress in that film actually won an award for that, which was awesome. And then we kind of did, like, under Dreammakers Productions, produced some music videos and things like that. And then it kind of evolved into what it is now, where we just basically focus on faith-based productions.
And you've got some things you've worked on now, a series that you have as well.
Yes, it's called Haven, and it initially started out as a web series that I didn't really think about there being any other options except for it to be, web-based. And so we call it Haven, the web series, because there's actually another television show, like a network show that was done several years ago called Haven, which is completely different. Storyline, everything, not the same at all. So I didn't want there to be any confusion. We were Haven, the web series. And God just took that series, and obviously He was the creator of the series. I cannot take any credit. Just, there is a amazing backstory behind the whole creation of Haven. But anyway, He took it and He has expanded it. It's showing on the Creative Motion Network. It's also on 24 Flicks. And He's just blessed it. I'm just amazed. I'm sitting back, and when I think about where Haven where it started and where it is now, I'm in awe at what God has done. And we're also looking at producing a comedy, a sitcom at some point, and that's kind of in development. And so that's kind of where we're at with Seven Dreams Films. But then outside of that, I also do some other things with some other production companies.
This has been some very difficult times for the entertainment world, as well, for everybody. what lessons have you learned, or what do you feel God has spoke to your heart during these changing times? Anything that you could think of?
Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's been a really interesting year for everybody. I know we've all experienced some just horrible things, amazing things. But one of the things that God has shown me is just how faithful He is. That He never changes, and it's something we know this. We read this in Scripture. God never changes, no matter what happens. He never changes. But until you experience it, like a time like this, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers have experienced this as well. That God has been the one steady, sure thing in all of this chaos. And so my trust in Him has grown, my faith in Him has grown. Just He's just proved Himself faithful.
Yeah, I my brother, who's a pastor, is always saying, "Do you think God is surprised by what happened?" No, I don't think so.
Not at all. Not at all.
And He's always faithful, and that's, we could grow up with hearing that we have faith in God is there for us, but until we live through it, until we experience that faith itself, it becomes real to us when we see that, isn't it?
Absolutely. And so honestly, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this horrible year that we've had because I've learned so much about God, and my focus is more on Him than it's ever been, as I'm sure a lot of people have changed their focus as well, and they understand exactly what I'm talking about. It's been a real blessing, and so I am grateful.
I'm going to, as I usually do with our guest, I'm going to go ahead and put the YouTube interview here down below on the comments. Going to put your website, also your production company's website down there too, so people could get a hold of you. They could watch what's going on with your releases and things that you're doing now and in the future. Uh, but just before I ask you for the closing comments, I want to say probably the most important thing you could do for Renee when you see her name is be praying for her, that God would continue to bless her and use her in all her endeavors.
Yes, please. That would be wonderful.
What's any closing thoughts before we end our show today?
I just want to encourage everybody to just really realign yourself with the Lord. If if you find yourself struggling during these times, know that God, He's there, and He, like you said, He's none of this surprises Him, and we can trust Him. And even better, like the Lord's coming. He's coming, and that's what we can be really excited about. We don't know when, but He's coming for us,
Yes.
and just stay encouraged.
Thank you. Thank you. I've often said to a lot of people, I'm not sure when the Lord's going to come, but He's probably going to come in the next 20, 30 years, if not for everybody else, probably for me. So I'm really concentrating on that. So I'm really working until I see Him. So, Renee, thank you so much. You've been such a delightful, wonderful guest today. And I want to encourage you that's listening to share this on your site, pass on the YouTube interview. And thank you so much, Renee, for being with
Thank
us
you.
today. All right. And keep coming back for some more morning moments, and God bless you.